Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Bad Hair Day. Sergeant Hooked on Heroes. Hit me with another hashtag Power Month video. Of course, happy Power Month to all. To all a good Power Month. May the power protect you. If you don't know, after watching all these videos in this playlist somehow, August is what's known as Power Rangers Month, or better known as Power Month. It is the month on August 28th when the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers premiered. So I thought this year, with content for the channel for it, I would try to do something related to Power Rangers in general. So the series you're watching right now, videos here, is the most badass moments in each season of Power Rangers. And today I'm excited because we're finally talking about one of my very, very favorite seasons, which is Power Rangers SPD. So, SPD is a pretty awesome season. I really have no issues with it overall. I think overall it works in a lot of different ways. And I think it does a good enough job of taking what worked in the source material while still trying to do something new. Again, it's very much so one of those seasons that really hits that out of the park, where, again, they use the Sentai footage and the Sentai ideas in general, aesthetics, as a skeleton to build off the meat from, to make the show. And I think that works pretty well. Because it's really hard when you're beholden to, set footage from, Japan that you have to use to do something completely new. But they do some new things. So, let's just jump right into it. So, with SPD, there's a lot of moments throughout the series that I really, really enjoy. I think overall, like I said, it's a fantastic season, especially coming hot off the heels of something like Dino Thunder, which is one of my all-time favorite seasons, as is SPD. But I will say that my number one most badass moment is probably a good little tie between the Reflections Part 1 and Part 2, which is the one where Sky finally meets the monster Miralock, or whatever his name was, that is responsible for his dad's death. So that two-parter, and the other one where they're pretty sure that Jack died. I'm sorry, Sky. I didn't mean to say Scott. Where Jack died, destroying this giant meteor, right? So we'll get to that in a little bit. But first part of it. So Reflections Part 1 and 2. So the whole series, we always get this idea that Sky is very upset that Jack is the one that became Red Ranger. A lot of people in the fandom more recently feel like there's a bit more of a racist vibe with it, especially because Jack straight up tells him Rangers can come in all colors. And he means Ranger designation color, but it definitely feels like it's got some subtext there of doesn't matter what your skin color looks like, you can be a Red Ranger. And it's pretty cool because the way the series is set up with SPD is that, it's very much like an organization with ranks and stuff like that. They're the B squad, the A squad is like the stars, right? And they go missing, so B squad has to become active Rangers. And it's interesting because Jack does just come off the streets with a little bit of street knowledge on how to defend himself, but not really how to be a leader. He's kind of a bit of a jackass at first. Jackass. But he really does morph, if you will, into a great leader. So by the time of Reflections, we've gotten little bits and pieces here and there where, again, Sky is just very, jealous of the fact that Jack is Red Ranger. And at first you think that's where it stops layer-wise with his character. But there's more to it than that. You find out that his dad was Red Ranger before even the current team right now. Years ago, he was Red Ranger, but he was killed in the line of duty. So ever since then, he devoted himself to becoming part of SPD, training, rising through the ranks, and becoming Red Ranger one day. It's one of his dreams. So he masks that by being a dick to people, being like, well, they can't be a Red Ranger. Like one time Doggy asked him, what if I would have, I have a good question for you, this guy, what if I would have given Red Ranger status to Sid? How would you feel? He's like, girls can't be Red Rangers. He gets gobsmacked later with something that's a runner-up moment I'll talk about. So Reflections Part 1 and 2, we finally find out that they've apprehended the criminal responsible for the death of his father. His name is Miralock. And the kind of species that he is able to travel through mirrors if he is given, proper access to them. I'm sorry, my hair is an absolute mess today. He's able to travel through mirrors and reflections. So he goes in, he has his SPD badge covered up, and he has tinted sunglasses that have no shine to them. Everything covered up he can so that he has no way of getting out. He's going to interrogate him, trying to figure out more about what Emperor Grau is doing, the plans of the Trubian Empire, blah, blah, blah. Well, the whole time, Miralock is pretty much owning the entire conversation, and essentially Sky. Sky is trying to be strong because, hey, this is the guy that, killed my dad. And at the same time is, trying to be professional. Wow, hair is just not my friend today. Trying to be professional and be a good, officer, a good SPD, officer. Miralek unfortunately gets under his skin, brings up his dad and how much he enjoyed killing him and blah, blah, blah. And it makes Sky cry. And in his tears, Miralek is able to escape. And so what's cool about this two-parter is near the end of it, it's also one that introduces really kind of hurriedly, which is kind of an odd thing for me, but it was still fine, the battleizer for the series as well. So it has a like phase 1 basically version of it, and then there's a more armored version that has like cannons and stuff on it. And so near the end of part 2, when they finally corner Miralek, Jack is about to fight, and he goes, "Here, no, you do it." And he gives his morpher to Sky, and he goes, "What?" And he goes, "Do it for your dad." And he's like, "Thank you." Like, he's totally, completely thrown off by Jack being as nice to him as he is, because they've had this like kind of butting heads thing, very Naruto Sasuke type thing. And so he gets to morph. He's like, "This one's for you, Dad. SPD emergency!" And he gets to transform and be the Red Ranger. Uses the battleizer, which combines Brick, the dog, with them, to create the armor and everything. And is able to defeat Miralek. Is able to judgment time, and he's guilty, and he's, put away in one of the cards and takes care of it. And that's also the start of their arc towards becoming friends later on in the series. And I really, really enjoy that. It's at that point that they start to like see eye to eye better and get along with each other more and consider each other friends and equals rather than just always being, kind of at each other's throats, if you will. So yeah, that's one of my favorites. That's probably one of my favorite moments, tied up also, with what else did I say? I'm forgetting. So there was the Reflections Part 1 and 2. Oh, and I can't remember what the name of the episode is, but later on there's a whole thing where the plot of it is that this meteor is going to hit Earth, and they just gotten their swap powers. They have the swap Megazord, and they need to use it in its cannon form to destroy it, but only one of them can be there to do it. The other one has to escape. So Jack makes the decision of sending Sky away so he can destroy the meteor and save the day. And they think that he dies as a result of it. Sky's like, "No, don't do this. You can't, blah, blah, blah." And, Jack's like, this is an order from your commanding officer. You need to go now. And he forcibly makes Sky leave. And Sky is distraught about it. They'd grown this friendship ever since Reflections Part 1 and 2. And he's worried about him. He doesn't know what happened. He doesn't want to accept the fact that his friend is dead. And come to find out, he's not. Of course, it's Power Rangers. But it's a really good episode for that, showing how far they've come in their friendship and that they do truly care about each other, and the way that Jack is cemented as one of the best leaders we've ever gotten in Power Rangers, in that he is willing to sacrifice everything to save the Earth and to keep people safe. Really enjoy that. So that's those are two of my like back-to-back most badass moments right there. As far as a runner-up or a honorable mention, definitely most of the things with A-Squad. We're introduced to the concept of them very early on. We see as the audience little things that give us hints that they're not on the up and up, if you will. And come to find out, spoilers, of course. I mean, duh, this show is however many years old now. We find out that they at one point were approached by Grum to basically join him, and they paid him a bunch of money. It wasn't that he mind controlled them. It wasn't that Master or whatever, that big tentacle monster thing near the end of it. It's not like that, did some weird juju magic. Nope. They just straight say screw it, fuck it to their morals and Earth, and decide to turn their back on their own race and be evil. And it's really kind of upsetting to find out that it's not something as simple as being just, evil because that's a spell. They're just evil for the sake of it, for the profit of it. And I think that was a really cool arc for them to do with A-Squad. They're always, really, pumped up and talked about as like, oh, it's A-Squad, wow, I want to be just like A-Squad. But even Bridge notices in like episode 1 or 2, they walk by and he notices their energy is off. And they're all like, it's fine, it's Bridge, whatever. And he's like, whoa, and they dismiss him. And he's like, what? But listen. They don't want to listen to him. And it's also cool that when they find them and they rescue them near the end, when they eventually, turn on them and they take Doggy Kruger and all that to bring back to Grum, that Sky gets to get a big slap right in the face and across his ego, and gets to see that the Red Ranger is a girl. Charlie is the first in the franchise female Red Ranger. At that point, before Boom Studios comics happened with Grace, Sterling being Red for a while, and whatever else other female Reds we've gotten recently with like Amelia and stuff. At the time, it was a big moment to see that the Red Ranger, even of that team that was just, that was A Squad, wasn't our main team, was, whoa, sorry about that, was, a girl. Was really cool. It was a really cool, little, not really Easter egg, just a little moment for the franchise to do that. So yeah, I really like that. A Squad's whole thing, their fight with them near the end is really good. So overall, I absolutely adore SPD. It's definitely worth a rewatch. Honestly, I've watched it initially when it aired, and I've rewatched it 2 or 3 times after. I'm probably going to rewatch it again, probably due for another rewatch. But it's a fantastic series. And honestly, I feel like Disney did the right thing in the way that they were doing the seasons and making it about 40-ish episodes. I think that's about fair when you're adapting a Sentai, because Sentai is, 50 or sometimes a couple more than that. I think crunching it down to 40 is a lot more doable and makes more sense and does more justice to what you have content-wise from the Sentai than something like 20 episodes. I feel like that's not enough to really do a lot with what you got from the Sentai. But overall, I really enjoy it. I think it's a really good season. Yeah, let me know in the comments below. What did you guys think of SPD? What is your favorite moments? I also love the team-ups. I know I didn't mention the team-ups here, but I do love the team-ups. History and Wormhole are really, really good. Nobody gets inside. Definitely really good team-ups. Let me know in the comments below. Love it, hate it, in the middle. Favorite characters, favorite moments of your own. I love to see the conversations going. I thank you guys so much for the support on this series. A bunch of the different videos within this playlist have gotten really good amounts of views, in my opinion. And I'm kind of surprised by that. I mean, like, I always am. I try to always stay humble on this channel, not be like, well, of course you guys watched it, because I'm really cool. Like, no, like, I just like to be a big goofball and talk about these goofy, spandex superhero shows, karate bugmen shows, and have a good time. That's all it's really about for me. You know what I mean? So I do thank you guys so much for love and support, all that good stuff. But until next time, stay hooked on heroes. I'll talk to you later, and may the power protect you. Happy Power Month!